Hi everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Love. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, known as Dr. Love on the web, and this is my advice column for July 9th. It's entitled Feelings for Her, Forbidden? Now, I received a question from a young man in India, and he said he thinks of his mother while masturbating almost 90% of the time, and he imagines her in a bra and petticoat. He said his mother's a decent woman, yet she strips her sari even in his presence. And now I'll quote what he says. She reveals herself to me in a blouse and petticoat, which in turn exposes her parts like stomach, midriff, navel, cleavage, and clear shape of her breasts in the tight-fitting Indian blouse. There have been times she even stripped down to bra and petticoat, but showing her back to me, facing the wall. It may be normal for a mom to be in her bra and bikini in America, but in Indian culture, a mother won't expose herself in a bra. She used to ask me to adjust her bra strap in the back only to place it inside the blouse border, and while doing this, I got to see her ample cleavage and bra-covered mounds as I stood close behind her and as she loosened the ends of her blouse near her shoulders in the front. And she comes out of the bathroom, covering herself in her petticoat alone, which barely covers her breasts to her upper thighs, leaving exposed her back till her hips and in front exposing her full thighs. And I got attracted due to these exposures, and inside my mind I'm longing for all of these. And once she even asked me, was I wearing my underwear? And I replied yes. And then she asked why my pant zipper portion is bulging, and I was embarrassed as I was having an erection, so she notices my things. One night while sleeping, one of her breasts was half visible out of her blouse, as a few of the hooks were unhooked. So I touched her breast and nipple slowly, and then also placed my mouth there like kissing, and I did this for some 10 minutes, and I felt she was about to awake, and so I left the blouse open and rushed back to my bed. We were in the same room only. After some 15 minutes, she opened her eyes and covered her breast and hooked the blouse, and I really don't know if it was accidental or not. So my question is it okay to think about my mother for my masturbation? I'm unable to avoid thinking of her. And he signs this letter to me, a good son. Now this is what I say to this good son. I very much admire your courage to share your story with me, and I also admire your honesty. So let me say that it is normal to have sexual feelings for our parents. They are, after all, our first love objects, and I'll come back to this point in a minute. For now, I just want to distinguish between feelings and actions. Feelings, thoughts, and fantasies are all fine, but acting on sexual feelings for family members is problematic. The incest taboo prohibits family members from having sexual relations with each other, and there are laws that support this taboo precisely because of the universality of the urges to have relations with family members. Now, if this kind of feeling were not universal, there would be no need for such taboos and laws. The two main reasons that sexual relations are not permitted among family members are: one, inbreeding causes genetic errors that lead to birth defects, and two, incest leads to terrible rivalries that would place the survival of the family unit and society at large in jeopardy. Now, let me return to my earlier point about it being perfectly normal for you to feel sexual feelings toward your mother. Your situation is unusual in that your mother is definitely behaving seductively toward you, revealing herself to you in her panties and bra, titillating you, no pun intended, mercilessly titillating you, asking you to adjust her bra straps, noticing your erections in her presence, etc. Her behavior is all the more inappropriate given the culture in which you live. Now, the result of her seductive behavior is that it fans the flames of your own natural attraction. In other words, she's adding fuel to your fire. I have the feeling that there's no other man in the house, no husband, no father. If there is, he seems to be absent. And keep in mind that the normal progression of a boy's development is to fall passionately in love with his mother, and for a time he wishes to kill off his father so that he can have his mother to himself. Ultimately, he realizes that mom belongs to dad, so he must give her up and instead marry a girl like mom. This final step is the resolution of the Oedipal struggle, and it permits a guy to move on, let go of mom, and find another love object. Can you see that you are not being permitted to resolve the struggle? Your father is either not present or absent altogether. Your mother's seductive behavior ignites fantasy and fuels hope in you, and to date you haven't felt the need to give her up because it feels like there is no rival for her affections. Now, obviously, this pattern is meeting her needs. On some level, she knows that she's turning you on, and it's pleasing her. And I obviously don't know her story, but I can make some educated guesses. She might have been raised by a father who was seductive with her, and she's repeating the pattern, or perhaps she is copying her mother's seductive behavior. She may feel unloved by your father and is looking to fill the void with you. Because she's getting satisfaction by fanning your incestuous urges, and she's not going to want to give it up. We're in a bind here. Notice you signed your letter to me, a good son. You actually sense that she has a need to use you in this way, and being a good son, you are permitting her to do so at your own expense. Actually, I'm angry with her, and the gratifying her has to stop. You need to be permitted to grow up and have a life with another woman, to dilute the hold she has on you and help you separate from her. I suggest that you tell her that you find it embarrassing to see her undressed. This is a delicate way of presenting the matter rather than telling her upfront that she's turning you on. Then I'd like you to start diversifying your sexuality. Look at pictures of other women and masturbate to these pictures. If your culture permits you to date, then begin seeing other females socially. Fantasize about them and masturbate to them. This won't be easy for you since you are totally fixated on her. But as she backs off and you open your eyes to broader horizons, I think you'll be able to dilute your feelings for her and move forward. Please let me know how you progress.